Hey everyone, welcome, I am MisterBo, and today we're going to be going over the top 5 tips to help you improve and win at races in Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. Now to veteran players, these aren't anything new, these are what you normally do in a race, but maybe this is the first time you've played Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled, you're not really sure how anything works and you maybe played other kart races before. Well, hopefully these tips will help you improve your game and win races, whether that's in adventure mode, time trials, or even the newly added online feature, because racing against other players can be pretty hard, and having a few little things in your back pocket that will help you get ahead of them might indeed secure you the win. Now if you do find these tips helpful, be sure to give the like button a big old hug. If you're new around here, feel free to subscribe for more gaming content and coverage, and if you do, be sure to also boop that bell icon so you're notified when my future videos go live. So here are my 5 top tips to help you improve and win at Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. At number 1 is boosting off the line. Now if you've played any other kart racer before, you know at the beginning of a race, if you time just correctly, you can usually get a boost at the beginning of the starting line, pushing you ahead of everyone to get that early lead. Well, the same goes for Nitro-Fueled, but it's slightly different to that of say Mario Kart. So in Nitro-Fueled, you'll see your boost meter down the bottom right hand side of the screen. Now as the lights tick down, 3 reds to a green, you need to be pressing your acceleration button so that bar is filling up. And basically you want to fill that up enough so it's nearly at the max when the green light goes. If done correctly, you will get a full-on boost. Now if the bar isn't quite up to the max, you'll still get a boost, but it just won't be as much. It can take a little bit of practice to get this right every single time, but once you've got that nailed, you'll be boosting straight ahead of everyone else, giving you that early lead, allowing you to get the items first, and hopefully allowing you to stay ahead for most of the race, and maybe going on to win. Tip number 2, picking your character. So in Nitro-Fueled, your stats like acceleration, speed, and turning come in the form of the character you pick, and not in the form of the customization for your kart. So it's good to know which characters are in which class, and then which characters are suited for certain tracks. Now characters come in 3 different types. You have beginner, intermediate, and expert. Your beginner characters are your turning based characters who can turn around sharp corners pretty easily, but are pretty slow when it comes to speed. Intermediate is broken down into 2 separate classes. Firstly, you have all-rounder, which is basically as it suggests. Your stats are pretty rounded to everything. You're fairly good at speed, acceleration, and turning. The other intermediate class is acceleration. You've got a great acceleration, an okay speed, and then an average kind of turning. And then finally, the expert class is full-on speed, but your turning is pretty terrible. Now it's good to know which characters are in which class, and then it's kind of a little bit of experimentation, playing with certain characters on certain tracks, working out which character stats are better for which track. For example, a track like Suez Speedway, which is all about speed and not really much about turning, you can pretty much get away with an expert character who's full on speed because you don't need to turn tightly. However, compare that to a track like Papu's Pyramid or Cortex Castle, which has a lot of different right angle turns. A beginner character who can take those turns a lot quicker might just mean you get ahead of the pack. Of course, you can experiment and find out which character is best for you on certain tracks. Obviously, there are a lot of tracks, so it might take some time to work out what kind of character you can control best around the tracks, but once you know that, it's definitely going to give you an advantage. Tip number 3 is knowing your tracks and knowing where shortcuts are. So like I just mentioned, there are a lot of tracks in this game, and once you've played them enough, you should hopefully build up some sort of muscle memory to where you pretty much don't have to actually look at where you're going, and you can kind of focus on the boosting bar, which we'll get to in a minute. But another major thing in some of these tracks is they have shortcuts. Now not all tracks have shortcuts, and some tracks have shortcuts that aren't really worth your time unless you know you can make it, but knowing where shortcuts are and knowing whether or not you can actually make it through that shortcut without losing any time is another thing. Some shortcuts can be accessed by just having a little bit of speed, some require a weapon to open a secret entrance, and some require you to have maybe some sort of speed boost or an Aku Aku mask to make it along the ground without actually slowing down. Now if you want to know where all the shortcuts are in this game, be sure to check out the link in the description below, or the link at the end of this video, which will actually go over every single shortcut in every single track. But once you know where those shortcuts are, and you know whether or not you can take them or not in the heat of the moment, can get you very far ahead of the other racers, or just cut some massive time off in your time trial. Tip number 4, collect those Whomper Fruit. Now whilst you're racing around the track, you know there's the item boxes, but there's also the Wumpa crates as well. Now collecting Wumpa crates actually gives you a bonus. So when you've got the max of 10 Whomper Fruit, you are juiced up. Now not only does this mean your weapons are going to have better benefits, for instance lasting longer, changing TNT crates into nitro crates which blow up on impact, or with the Warp Orb, instead of just hitting everything in a straight line, will now go ahead and hit everyone in front of you. It's good to have 10 Whomper Fruit because it also gives you an increase to your speed. Now it may not be that noticeable, but it is still an increase to your speed, which could push you up a few different places and save you from coming in last place. So definitely try and pick up as many Whomper Fruit as you can to get the stack of 10, and if you get hit and lose a few, try and gather them again. Now tip number 5 is the most important thing in Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled, and that is drift boosting. So most kart racing games again have a variation of this, but in Nitro-Fueled it's slightly different. So when you're driving along, if you press your right bumper or your left bumper, you'll jump. Now if you jump into a turn, you'll start to drift. Now that's all well and good, but you're not getting any boost or speed from that. In order to get speed, as you jump and drift into a turn, you need to keep an eye on the bottom right hand side of your screen where your boost meter is that we previously mentioned. Now just like at the beginning of a race, you want to make sure that that bar is getting as close to the end as possible, and when it does, you can press the other bumper button on your controller and that will enable you to shoot forwards in a boost. Now what's cool about this is you can actually do this up to 3 times in one drift. So you can get a nice boost, you can boost again, and then you can boost a final time, and then that will send you hurling forwards. Now there's a counter that you can't see anywhere on screen called reserves, and the more boosts you can hit closer to the end of that bar builds up your reserve, meaning you get a longer boost coming out of your final third boost. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, if you're a skilled player and you can get those 3 consecutive boosts, then that's obviously going to give you a nice push forwards, as well as allow you to maybe get into some of those shortcuts that we've previously mentioned without needing an Aku Aku or an Uka Uka mask or even a speed boost power up. Now hitting 3 maximum boosts in a row is all well and fine, and that's kind of the basic aspect of this mechanic. Now where the pro play comes into this is chaining those boosts to where you can pretty much boost around the whole track. For example, here on Sewer Speedway, you can see I pretty much never lose any speed because I'm chaining those 3 boosts together. I'm coming out of the 3 and then straight away I'm drifting again and hitting those 3 boosts, and again that is keeping up my reserves, so when I come out of those 3 boosts I have a longer amount of time to actually just drive forwards with that momentum kept before I need to go into another drift and boost again. And this is where you're really going to see the competition come out, especially in online. Obviously knowing this stuff is also going to help you in the adventure mode, as well as time trial for getting your times right the way down, so hopefully you can beat Entropy and Oxide. But this is really going to set you apart from the competition if you can nail this in online play. So there you have it, those are my top 5 tips to help you improve and to help you win in Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. Making sure you get that boost off the line to begin with, knowing which character you need to pick for which track you're about to race on, knowing your tracks so you know where you need to be driving, as well as when to take shortcuts and where they are on the tracks, making sure you've got 10 Whomper Fruit on you at all times so you get that increase to your speed and have juiced up power-ups all the time, and finally being able to actually drift boost, get those consecutive boosts, build up your reserves and just stomp the competition. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning, if you're a veteran player, you already knew all this stuff. This isn't anything new to you, but if you are a new player to Crash Team Racing, Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled, then these tips should hopefully help you a lot. And if they do, let me know in the comments below. And if you've got any other tips you think would be great for new players to Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled, let me know them in the comments below. Maybe I missed something out. But if you did find this helpful, or if you enjoyed it, feel free to give the like button a big old hug. Be sure to subscribe for more gaming content and coverage. And if you do, also boop that bell icon so you're notified when my future videos go live. Again, there's a link in the description below to all the shortcuts in Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled, or there'll be one at the end of the video. But thanks so much for hanging out with me, and hopefully I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.